Chris, I'm new to this whole electric car thing, and I learned something new recently.
Okay.
Two things, actually. Two things.
Yeah.
First, I'm in a loaner vehicle. Mine's in the shop, and they're doing some stuff to it. But when they gave it to me, they gave me an electric vehicle to like drive while mine was being worked on. And I don't ever set my vehicle to 100% charge because you're not supposed to. It saves the battery. It's longer lasting, whatever. So you set it to 80%.
Right.
When they gave me this car, it was set to 100%. And I was like, okay, well, I'll leave it there. That's fine. I'm only going to have it for a couple days. Not a big deal. And that's what they said set it to. It's not mine. I don't care. It's a loaner car, whatever. I am a huge user of regenerative braking. Like one pedal driving is amazing. It's the whole, I don't know if I can ever go back.
Okay.
But the car yelled at me when it was at 100% and said, regenerative braking is not available. Battery fully charged.
That makes sense.
And I said, no, I have to lower this. I have to lower it to 80%. And I drove around for a while to make sure that I was discharging some of the battery because I just, I don't know. I don't feel like I can drive without slowing down when I take my foot off the pedal anymore.
Yeah, I have the same kind of experience with my car when it's full because it changes, the decel profile, basically. My car has a thing where it can like show you, how many ticks of energy you're using or how many ticks of energy you're regenerating. And as it gets closer to 100%, the number of ticks available to go to the regen is like smaller and smaller and smaller until it gets to nothing when it's at 100%. And then you just coast when you let off the accelerator. But I don't use one pedal driving all the time. I use two pedal driving, but like with a regen as I kind of slow down. Like it's more aggressive coasting, but not like as much as a one pedal would be. So you use like actual one pedal all the time?
All the time. Every time I get in the car, it resets to level 3 regenerative braking, which is the highest you can set it to, like regenerative braking wise. Mm-hmm. And every time I get in the car, I click the little paddle that ups it one more level, which means it will go to a complete stop without touching the brake.
Huh. Yeah, I have that on my car. It has an option to do it. It's like a little thing, like you said, to kind of engage it. But I don't like it because I don't feel like I have the feeling for like what my stopping distance is. I guess when I have that on, it's like too short almost. And I worry that like my brake lights aren't on or something, and like people are not going to know that I'm slowing down really fast. And I don't know. It makes me feel weird. I have something in terms of that because I use it. I feel like I really do know my car to know how far it is to slow down and stop. And because again, I use it all the time. It's the way I drive now. And sometimes you got to hit the brake because you got to slow down a little faster or whatever. And it's still a pretty good like panic response is still to go to the brake. So that's good. I mean, it's still there. But I have noticed, and I didn't know this, I had to look this up. When it is cold out, regenerative braking does not work nearly as well. I don't know what it is. The battery's cold. It can't charge up as fast. Whatever. I looked it up and because I was driving and it's been very, very cold, particularly in, Midwest United States for a little while. It's been very cold, colder than I'm used to, at least, and I was like, man, I feel like I'm slowing down, like not as fast. Like I feel like the braking profile on this regenerative braking is just so off. And I said, I wonder if the cold has anything to do with this. And we looked it up and it certainly does. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it works. I don't know the electrical engineering behind it with the motor and regenerative braking and the battery and all that, but it changes that braking profile. And let me tell you, it was throwing me for a loop. That's how I feel every time I go into what my car calls e-pedal mode, which is the one pedal driving, where it's like you let off the gas and like you are stopping. Like now you are coming to a stop, and I don't love it. Like it's weird. The only time I ever turn that on is if I'm like in a drive-through or like real stop and go traffic where like I know that I'm going to be stopping and going quite a bit. Then I'll switch into one pedal and it's super nice for that. But I can't do that like with regular driving because then you got to keep your foot on the pedal like going all the time. I use cruise control so much. I can't
I don't. The one pedal doesn't work for me.
Well, you can still use cruise control. You can still push the little button.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
you still push the little button, but I mean, the one thing that I've really had to get used to, which I actually genuinely like, is you control the speed at which you slow down by like not fully releasing the gas, the accelerator, right?
Yeah.
And if I fully release my accelerator, I am slowing down at what I would consider a slightly aggressive, but still, fine deceleration all the way to stopping.
Maybe your car is less aggressive with its slowing down, but if I was going 45 and I let off the thing and it was, in the one pedal mode, it stops way too short.
Mine would too, but you come off halfway, and then as you get closer, you come off all the way.
I know. I just feel like that's too much like ankle finesse. Like I don't like it.
You have weak ankles, Chris?
No, I didn't say that.
You gotta work out your ankles. You gotta do those. I don't know what kind of exercise strengthen ankles.
One that you can do, I don't know why I know this. I promise it's not because I went to physical therapy for my ankles or anything, but like one thing you can do is like write alphabet letters with your toe, like your big toe, like spell out alphabet letters.
Oh yeah?
It's good for your ankles. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll keep that in mind.
Welcome back to Pride and Accomplishment. My name is Chris.
And I'm Jason. This is episode 145.
We had a little bit of trouble when we were setting up this episode compared to last year's episode or last episode, because we thought that we had done these in the order that we did last year, but we didn't, between the spending episode and the look back, look forward episode. So the episode after our spending episode is our look back on 2024, look forward to 2025 episode. So if you are keeping track, which I'm sure that so many of you are, sorry for the confusion.
I like this order better. It just feels more right.
That's true. We kind of closed the book on 2024, and now we're kind of opening the book on 2025.
So the first thing we have to do here is mostly I have to eat my words. We look back to what we were excited about last year and just kind of close loop on it. And this is fun because Chris usually gets to poke fun at me because I never pick stuff that actually comes through. But I don't know. I'm going to try to be a little better this year. I tried to be a little bit more realistic, but I wasn't. I don't think I was perfect. I got a couple right, but I also took some chances last year, and I don't think they panned out.
Yeah, I did okay. So we'll see how that happens when we get there. But do you want to kick us off with your 3 from last year?
Yeah, real quick. So last year, I chose in third place, most anticipated, Helldivers 2, which I think I nailed.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that came out in February, so we played it like right after the game, like right after the episode.
We did. It was pretty close, but we still weren't sure when we recorded the episode, how it would all pan out. We knew it was third person. We knew, but we didn't know it was going to be the absolute hit that it was. And it's still delivering. I don't know that we're playing it, but it's still delivering, and that's really nice to see.
Yeah, we played it for, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, and then it moved on to other things, much to the dismay of some friends. But we eventually came back to it, or at least I did, a little bit in November of 2024, and played a little more, and it still holds up. It's still a good game, so it's a good pick up and play for a few minutes kind of thing.
In second place for me was the Warframe 1999 expansion. I think this is pretty solid. I was a little unhappy with the quest. I thought it was a little short after all of the hype. It'd been getting hype for like 2 years. I like it. It brought me back to Warframe for sure. I've been playing a lot of Warframe lately, so maybe it did exactly what it was supposed to. I like the reward structure. I like the story. I like, a lot of it. I just don't feel like I got enough answers, and I want more. So maybe that's exactly what it's supposed to be. And, in terms of like anticipating it, playing it, and actually spending time in the game, it did that for sure.
If they gave you all the answers, you'd have no reason to keep playing. So why would they do that?
I know. I'm ready for them to answer this and then move on to other stuff. So And they're going, I mean, they're teasing what's next. I mean, they're, you know, with the game and the lore and all of that, like we kind of know what's happening next, but there's still so many open questions. And Warframe and Digital Extremes is like notorious for, did people like it? Okay, we'll do more of it. Or if they don't like it, let's abandon it and never do it again. So
what does that mean for the story though? Do they skip the story if they abandon it?
They'll do like flashbacks, or they'll put it into like, things that you can collect rather than like full cinematic quests.
Oh,
they pivot pretty hard if things don't go well. So they've had some really big successes lately. Some of their cinematic story quests lately have been like spot on. And, you know, they've said, hey, these have been successful, so we're going to continue with them. We're going to keep doing stuff like this. We're going to continue the storyline like in depth. And I need them to do more, please, quickly.
Well, you had that on your most anticipated of 2024 at the beginning of 2024, and it came out at what, like the third to last day of December or something, like
yeah, really late. I wasn't expecting it to be that late, but yeah, it was December 13th or 18th or something. Yeah.
They really made you wait for that one.
But yeah, no, I've continued to play it. My number one is something I have to eat my words on. Thinking back, I was excited about it because I had thought about, oh man, Assassin's Creed and the Star Wars universe and Ubisoft, and Star Wars Outlaws just didn't pan out. It didn't land. It didn't get good reviews, and it was my number one, and I never even ended up picking it up. Wow.
I was also interested in this one. I wanted to see kind of how... I always like a good take on Star Wars from the gaming perspective, but I also did not touch this. It did not get good reviews, and I was busy when it came out, and it wasn't worth a full price game for me, and it wasn't getting good reviews. And I think they've done some stuff to fix it in the meantime, so maybe it's getting better, but it's kind of got a little bit of a cyberpunk situation going on with it, I think, where it was like super hyped, but then the game was kind of meh.
I do too, and I have heard that they are continuing to put a lot of effort into it. Like as a single player game, they're still trying to, you know, bring it around and turn it into a cyberpunk, right? Turn it into something that continues to sell for a long time. If it ever goes to, you know, Game Pass or something like that, I will definitely pick it up. I will definitely play it. If it ever goes on like super sale, we're talking like $10 or $15, maybe even less, I would probably pick it up and try it. But it's just not worth $40 to $60 for me.
Doesn't Ubisoft have some kind of like Ubi Pass or something, you know, something with their like subscription for all their games?
Yeah, it's you play Ubisoft Plus or whatever. I think it's $15 a month for all of their games. I guess I could do that for 1 month, but this feels like something I'm not going to get through in 1 month.
Fair.
So
I just looked it up. It's $18 a month if you pay monthly, or $15 a month if you pay annually.
I have a feeling it's going to come to something eventually, whether it be Game Pass or just be on super. Like the other one that I really want to play that's Ubisoft is Immortals Phoenix Rising, right? I eventually bought that on such a cheap. Like I still haven't played it, but I eventually bought it on such a discount that like I couldn't pass it up. It was like $4 or $8 for the whole game, and I don't think Star Wars Outlaws is going to get that low quickly, but I think in 6 more months to a year it'll be $15, and that might be the right price.
Okay, well, if you pick it up, let me know, because I'm curious.
I had 2 honorable mentions that were in the same vein. They were both like Metroidvania story driven side-scrolling action games. Tales of Kenzera Zhao, which got great reviews, and Prince of Persia The Lost Crown, which also got great reviews. Unfortunately, I don't think Prince of Persia sold very well. I never ended up picking these up. I was interested in them. This was kind of one of those out there, like try some new game genre. I was kind of interested in it. Never actually came around on it, but I'm still interested. They got good enough for the reviews where I should play these, but it never happened last year.
Yeah, I was surprised last year when you picked these, because you don't play these kinds of games, but I'm still surprised and that you're interested in playing them in the future. But cool. I mean, yeah. I like these
great Steam Deck games.
Exactly. They look like great Steam Deck games, and I've been playing a lot of Steam Deck lately, so like I might have to think about these, see if they're available. Although they also seem like really good Humble games, like really like that size of game. So maybe we'll just wait.
Okay, Chris, go through your bangers on your list.
Okay, well, I just have to say that with the exception of one of my games between my 3 picks and my honorable mentions, I played everything that I was looking forward to this year. Like, I actually bought and played all of the games.
Yeah, I know. You had a great list.
So my number 3 was the Factorio expansion, which is called Space Age, and we played a lot of that. Obviously, you've heard us talk about it for a while. It was great. No regrets. You know, good expansion, lots of fun. So that one was great.
My only regret is that we didn't play it more.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yes, we got to finish. We got to get to the last planet and do all the stuff. My number 2 pick was early access, but Hades 2, which I bought and played a whole bunch of and was really fun. And I'm looking forward to getting back into as they continue to do content updates. There's still some stuff I haven't seen in the latest content update that they've done. So that's waiting for me to go back to on my Steam Deck at some point. I don't know if that one's coming out in 2025 or not. I'm not sure if Hades 2 is slated for a release this year. I think Hades 1 was in early access for like 3 years, so it may still keep going in early access, but it's a great game either way. Even in early access, you wouldn't be able to tell that it's not like a fully released game because it's fully voice acted and got all the stuff, and it's super good. So if you liked Hades 1,
it was good.
Highly recommend.
It was a good choice. And it like you said, even though it's in early access, it was still a good choice.
And then my number 1 was an interesting one. And this actually, I guess I should back off a little bit with my gloating of my good picks, because I did not play this as much as it may have seemed like I was going to, considering that I pre-ordered it and had it purchased in 2023. But Final Fantasy VII Rebirth came out in February and late February last year. And I had already bought it, like I said, and I did play it when it first came out, and I played it a little bit, but I then kind of let it sit for a while. And actually, I can report that in the past 3 weeks or so, I have been playing it on my Steam Deck using remote play streaming to the Steam Deck.
Oh, wow.
And that has been super fun.
That's good. That's cool.
Yeah, and it's a little bit appropriate because PC version of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming out in like a couple weeks, or maybe it's out right now as we speak. I don't know. So, and it's Steam Deck verified. So it's like you could buy this game on Steam and you could play it on Steam. And I was like, oh, cool. Because I usually like to have things that I can play on the Steam Deck, but I already own this game and I'm at home quite a bit and have, you know, a Steam Deck and a PlayStation and good internet, you know, good Wi-Fi in the house. So it works perfectly to stream from the PS5 to the Steam Deck and play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So I'm getting back into it now. I'm I don't know, maybe a third of the way through, but I'm kind of taking my time and doing a lot of side quests and stuff.
I'll give you a pass on this one because, I mean, it got nominated for Game of the Year. So, like,
yeah.
It was your number 1. You did play it. You're continuing to play it, and it, you know, it topped the every chart it could. So, yeah, no, it was a good number 1 pick.
Good. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That was what I was going for.
You still didn't get what you asked for, though.
Yeah, I know. The thing I was really most interested in last year was a Final Fantasy IX remake, which I still want and would still love if they would do. But there's been no rumblings about that at all, which is really too bad because that will be my number 1 game of whatever year it comes out in.
They may finish the Final Fantasy VII remakes and then do a Final Fantasy IX. I think that would probably be appropriate in terms of marketing and timelines and all that.
Okay, I don't like your logic because it means it's going to take like 5 more years for it to come out, but you're probably right.
Yeah.
My honorable mentions, I had World of Warcraft, The War Within, which we bought, we played, we enjoyed, at least I enjoyed.
Yeah, I liked it. I did not like it.
That's right. I forgot you actually played it.
I liked leading up to the season a lot more than the season itself, which you will see. But it was great. It was a great purchase. It was a great game. I liked the time we spent in it.
Yeah, I played a whole bunch of WoW and really enjoyed it. And I'm actually looking forward to getting back to it at some point. We might talk about that a little bit later. But it was all in all a very good expansion as WoW expansions go. So glad we picked that one, or I picked that one.
Yeah, I gotta say, you know, looking back like at my choices in 2024, I guess I wasn't as hype about it at the beginning of 2024, but boy, did I build to like did I build it up as the year went on? So like, I'm sitting here like looking back, I'm surprised it wasn't in my top 3, but I guess at the like in January 2024 it wasn't. But I just like, if I think about my
June of 2024 it was.
Yeah, if I think about my 2024, it sits so much higher in my mind. So it's I guess it just goes to show like how much it changes in just 6 months.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's weird that we do this. I mean, we do usually a check-in also on these around mid-year anyway, when all the Summer Games Fest and all that stuff happens. So we'll probably do that again here. But like, from where we sit right now, it's or where we sat a year ago, I should say, it was hard to see that one coming, especially because it turned out to be such a good expansion.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did not turn out to be such a great pick, but I did play it, was Foamstars. That was one of my honorable mentions last year. That was the weird...
You played it?
I did. I really did. Because it was...
was it free?
Free for PlayStation Plus subscribers or something, and I still had a PlayStation Plus for a minute.
Okay.
I don't know. I played it on the PS5. It was fine. Maybe it was on Game Pass. I don't know where it was. Wherever it was, I did play it for like, 20 minutes, and it was fine. I did not get into it. Maybe competitive shooters are just not my thing, but like it didn't work. Like it wasn't good. But I guess that makes sense.
Well, you played Splatoon, right? Did you like Splatoon?
I love Splatoon. Like, well, at least the PvE version of Splatoon I really like. The PvP version of Splatoon I'm less good at. But that's why I was interested in Foamstars, because the Splatoon concept is really interesting. And I played some Foamstars, and it was fine.
Yeah. Yeah. You do have a question mark here from last year. So it's kind of a pass. You're like, is it going to be good? I guess I didn't realize that it came out in 2024. It feels like an older game than that.
It does feel, because it's that like live service, like, hey, fellow kids, like we're going to make this cool, kind of live servicey game. And it just didn't work. Like it was doomed. I don't know. It was not good.
Well, you didn't pay for it. So
True. My last honorable mention, and this is the one where I fell down a little bit, was Train Valley World, which did come out in 2024. I did not buy and play it, but I was interested in it. You actually talked me out of it because you were like, I watched some people play it. It is not the same game. And I was like, yeah, ooh, okay, cool. So that was a good warning.
Yeah, it was a departure from that series. They definitely changed the formula a little bit, and you like Train Valley and Train Valley 2, I think. And Train Valley World was like, yeah, we're going to shake it up a bit. And I warned you about that. And I think that steered you away from it.
It did. Yeah. So I didn't end up playing that one, but otherwise I was quite consistent with my picks. We'll see if I can mess it up this year.
Solid list. Okay. So we also last year, and we did again this year, we say what's not on our lists, which is like, hey, not on our lists, but they should be on someone's list, maybe. And I'm just going to go through these quickly. Because there's some funny ones in here. Destiny 2, The Final Shape, ended up being a pretty good expansion, I heard, but Destiny has since died. So, really was the final.
Wait, what? Died?
Shape.
Wait, I didn't hear this.
Oh, it's dead. Its player count numbers are way down. Its player counts numbers are lower than other MMO, like Guild Wars 2 and Warframe have higher player count numbers now. Like it's a dead game.
That's sad.
They have also announced that they're not doing more expansions. They're going to like a seasonal release like they're in maintenance mode.
Okay. Good to know.
There is some rumor that Destiny 3 might be a thing.
Oh no.
But there's no like real evidence behind it. I'd be okay with a Destiny 3, like a restart. I would try that.
Yeah, that's why I said, oh no, because yes, I would absolutely try it. Like it would be dangerous if they came out with a Destiny 3, because I would want to play it. You and I should also play the Destiny 2, The Final Shape expansion. Like, we got to find when it's on, like, super sale. Because Destiny 2 is a good game. It's a good shooter. Mm-hmm. And apparently the expansion was pretty good. Like, the story was pretty good. So, maybe we should try it. But, so we had that not on our list. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, which ended up being a great game. And I really still want to try it. But, yeah, no, these aren't honorable mentions, but these are like, we acknowledge that these are coming out in that year, and both of those ended up being pretty solid. Yeah, that's true. The next one we had on our not list was Stormgate, which is that RTS from the StarCraft people, which came out in early access, I think, although I haven't played it. I don't know if you have.
I have not, no. And I think it's out in early access now.
Yeah, it is. Definitely is. It's still happening. I'm still, I don't know, interested-ish just because I like RTS as a genre, but I'm not going to sit down and get good at this, so I don't know why I care.
Have you ever played Elden Ring?
Nope.
Me neither.
It's a hard game. I don't know that I'm willing to subject myself to that level of difficulty.
I have decided that it's okay for me not to like this game. I heard someone say it on some other podcast at some point, and I feel it too. Like, I'm not into games that are that don't tell you what the objective is or how to get better. Like, it's not a clear path. Some people are. I'm sure those are good games, and I'm sure that they're for someone. And I'm really happy that Elden Ring is such a good game, and so many people loved it. However, it's not. That's not what I want. But the expansion did come out last year and change the rules on video gaming because the expansion was nominated for Game of the Year. So it was good. Apparently the expansion was as big as a full release game, 50 hours or 60 hours of expansion content. So that was cool.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that allows it to get a Game of the Year nomination, but that still is weird. And then the last two things we had on our non-list list was, again, Final Fantasy IX Remaster and the Switch 2, which I think we might talk about a little bit later. But the Switch 2 now in 2025 has been announced, and we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet. So that was something I was looking forward to in 24, and it didn't happen, but now it is.
We really thought it was going to be at least announced last year.
I know. Come on, Nintendo. Like, they announced so much stuff that wasn't the Switch 2 in 2024. But like made such a big deal out of it, like the alarm clock, which we can talk about also later.
Yep.
And other such things like the Lego Game Boy that they announced. I guess that was in 25, but like still, come on. Come on. The Switch 2 looks good.
There were some rumors in 24 that they told developers that it was delayed. And I just based on like the whole series of what has happened up to this point. Now we have more recent information about the announcement and April 2nd or something being the details and whatnot. But I can believe very easily that they had planned to release the Switch 2 for the holiday season in 2024 and then just couldn't make it.
Maybe.
I don't have any evidence of that, but I could believe that pretty easily.
The Switch 1 came out in like March of 2017 or whatever, though. So like it's not like they're beholden to any sort of reasonable calendar.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, yeah, Switch 2. We'll talk more about that a little bit later.
Well, we're in 2025 now, and obviously we've already gotten some news about Switch 2 and some more games. I wanted to start off, though, and say that, 2025, putting this list together, it's been really hard for me, and I think it's going to continue to get harder because this list, for me at least, is most anticipated, right? Hyped. I'm going to buy it right away. I'm counting the days. I can't wait. And that was a really hard list to put together this year because early access just seems to be more and more and more of a thing. So there's some stuff that I can't put on my list for 2025 because either I already own it or because, even if I don't own it, the hype of a release is kind of in the past. And the games that come to mind are Pal World, Path of Exile 2. A lot of people are enjoying Enshrouded, and it just, I don't think it's a bad thing because I think early access is a really powerful tool for developers. But at the same time, like when we're putting this list together, it's not the same. It doesn't feel the same to say, oh my gosh, Path of Exile 2 is coming out in 2025. Well, no, you can already play it. Like, I don't know, feels different.
Yeah, I don't know. Last year I had Hades 2 on my list because I knew it was coming out in early access. Like, I think you can still have hype for an early access game, but once it is out in early access, it's as if it is out for real and you don't really get the same hype train that you would if it didn't exist. Like, I was very hyped for Hades 2 last year and it turned out to pay off, but Hades 2 is still in early access almost a year later.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think the early access release is almost more exciting than the full game release.
Right, because you get to play it like very first and it gets, high variability, right? Things can change a lot in the early days of early access, which is kind of cool. And I will say, for a game like Hades 2, which is like a hard-ish game, like a difficult roguelike kind of game, it's kind of rewarding to be able to say, oh, hey, I played and beat the final boss of this game before they nerfed it for all of the rest of the masses. Like I did that. And then there was a patch that was like, we made it way easier to beat the final boss. I was like, oh, well, I already did that. And I felt good about myself because I had worked towards that. So early access, I like early access. I know you're less excited about it, but I like early access. That being said, I don't have any early access games on my list this year. I don't know about you.
I don't either.
My number 3 pick, and this is actually a bit of a risk for me if I'm resting on my laurels of making good picks, is Civilization 7, which comes out in February, I think, or March. They've started the hype train, like the media, whatever marketing machine for it. And I am seeing more articles and reviews and previews and whatever about it. And I'm starting to get excited about another Civ game.
Yeah, it's working.
It is kind of a little bit working, kind of. But like not like a lot, because like the last time I played Civ 6 was like forever ago, and I don't even know that I have all the expansions for Civ 6. But like they were talking about Civ 7 having like some stuff that was in systems that were in the expansions from Civ 6, and so it's a really good way to go. And like they're breaking the game up into 3 different like eras now, and so you play almost like 3 games in one, which I hope makes it a little bit more approachable and a little more bite-sized to actually like play a game of Civ instead of being like, oh, I need to dedicate a weekend and a day to play a full game of Civ with my friends who also have busy lives. So I'm hoping that it kind of mixes up the formula a little bit and it's starting to look appealing.
That would be nice. A shorter game of some sort somehow, but also like being able to start later and yeah, no, I'd be into that. That'd be cool.
Right. Or if you could like have like a natural stopping point, because they do have these like 3 eras, right? Or whatever they call them. So they have like a natural break point in each third of the game, essentially. And all the preview people have only been able to see the first 2 of those 3 eras. So they don't really know what's in the third one, but they say that it's really good for like knowing that you have, because it's basically like once you get to the end of an era, there's basically victory conditions for that section of the game. And then you can continue or you can stop. Which I think would make it very approachable for playing with like groups of friends.
Agreed. Yeah, I like that. I liked Civ 6. I played it. I think I played Civ 4 and Civ 5. I mean, I've played all of the Civs. I just never get into them. And I don't feel the hype maybe that some other people that have played a lot of them for a long time feel. But it seems like a big event every time one comes out. So I would try it. If you bought it and you were like, hey, let's play it together, I would probably pretty easily fold.
Yeah, I will have to see what it does on the Humble Store too, because right now, as I look at it, it doesn't have the discount on the pre-order at least. Like the 20% Humble Store discount. Yeah. It's just like, oh yeah, you can give money to charity by buying this game, but like it doesn't give you the discount. And we're like, wait a minute. So we'll see if there's a way to get it for less than like $1,000, like it'll be great. And I'm exaggerating, but they do have a Founders Edition on Humble Store for $130 right now, which is wild to me.
What do you get for that extra? I don't know, what, $50?
Yeah, you get the full base game. You get 5-day early access. So you can start on February 6th instead of February, I guess, 11th.
You can play like a half a game of Civ in that time.
Yeah, exactly. You get a couple of like post-launch things with a couple of leaders and civilizations and wonders and extra stuff, and like I don't know. Yeah, it basically looks like it's basically 2 seasons worth of stuff. I mean, they're not really doing seasons, but like they have these like collections that they're talking about. Plus, you also get some other profile customizations and stuff for multiplayer games, and I don't know.
Is it all cosmetic, or do you actually get like? Are you buying the DLC and the expansions like ahead of time, or?
Well, they've got 2 things. They've got the Crossroads of the World collection with post-launch content featuring 2 new leaders, 4 new civilizations, 4 new wonders, a special cosmetic bonus, and more.
Those are functional things, yeah.
They are, I think, yeah. And then you've also got the Right to Rule collection with post-launch content featuring 2 new leaders, 4 new civilizations, 4 new wonders, a special cosmetic bonus, and more. So it's basically 2 of those.
Wow.
and then also the deluxe content pack, and then also the founders content pack. And so, it looks like it actually is like a little bit of kind of expansion-y bits. 6 DLCs. Yeah, it looks like.
Wow.
Available on or by September 2025. Wow. Well, now that I've read that all, I'm like, should I get that? No.
I know, right? Convincing.
I should stop. I should close this tab. But yeah, Civ 7, that's my number 3. I like Civ games. I probably like the idea of them more than I like the games themselves, but I think that's a function of not being able to find people to play them with typically. So we'll see how things go, how timing goes, and how availability of people and such to play is. But this one's definitely on my list. This is my least most hyped game for 2025.
I took some liberties with my third place and kind of generalized it. What I specifically wrote was World of Warcraft, The War Within Season 2. And what I meant by that was basically any expansion content in any of the MMOs that I play.
Oh. Okay.
So World of Warcraft, The War Within Season 2, there's going to be a new raid, there's some new dungeons, there's some, that's not expansion content, but that's new content, right? Guild Wars 2 potentially is going to have not potentially, should have a new expansion coming out in 2025, unannounced, don't know what it is, have no idea where it's going. But if they hold to their timeline, it should be announced, sometime in March-ish maybe, and come out in August. So that should be happening. And then obviously Warframe is going to have something. But they have announced nothing. They're like, there's like nothing on the horizon. They have a huge dev stream coming up where they're supposed to be announcing all kinds of stuff at the end of this month. So I'm hoping we get a little tidbit of what is next. So what I wrote down, because we actually know it's happening, is World of Warcraft: The War Within Season 2, which I am planning to resub and come back for, even if it's just for a few weeks. But I am planning to play it, maybe do some catch-up gear, maybe try to, really dig into a new tank spec again. Just some ideas around it. But I do plan to at least resub and play for a little bit. I got to get a little use out of that really expensive mount. But my number 3 position, I would say, is really more about like all of the new stuff coming in all of the MMOs that I play.
Gotcha. Okay. I see. I was really excited that you were excited about World of Warcraft, but I see that now it's just a ruse for other MMOs. But that's fine.
I mean, I am excited. I am going to play. The YouTube videos have been, hyping me back up again because they're talking about all the stuff that's coming out in the PTR and, all the stuff, all the changes, how, the Paladin tank won't be the most elite meta spec anymore, and potentially some improvements to other tank specs that I like. Like, I don't know. I've been pushed in the direction of getting hyped about it again. I know a little bit about the new dungeon. I've heard a little bit about the new raid. Like, I'm getting there. It's still probably a month or two out. I mean, even more maybe, right? Like, it's still a little bit out.
Yeah.
And I am excited to resub. I just don't know how long I'm going to stay subbed. It could be just a month if I really get into it. It could be the whole season. I don't know.
Yeah, I played a lot in Season 1, but I didn't actually get to like AOTC and didn't really do a lot of Mythic Plus. Like, I would like to come back and do a little bit more in 2025 and do a little bit more like group content, I guess I'll say. I did a lot of solo stuff. So maybe, when you get ready to do that, I'll try to join in and we'll go there.
Do we have a timeline for it yet? Do we know? Like, I think it's just like spring, right? Or
late winter,
early
I think is really what they say.
Late winter. Okay, sure.
I mean, at least if you look at their little roadmap, like, slides or whatever. Yeah, I think probably by the end of February, we'll at least have a date, if not a release. Like, it could come out in mid-March, but like, I think it's going to be pretty soon, especially given all the stuff that's coming out on the PTR. So like, They have another one slated for sometime in the summer, another major patch. So they've got to get this one out so they can, get that one out, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
It's good timing for me too, because there's really, as far as there's only one thing that's on my list for kind of that time, and it's not going to take forever. And we'll get to it a little later, but like, there's no other big MMO releases or other huge things that are coming out at that time, which was not true last year, right? Like, we stopped playing World of Warcraft because we got into Factorio.
That's true. Yes, Factorio did kind of stomp on the WoW train a little bit last year, but this year they are free and clear on the schedule. Okay, number two. My number two is a game that's already out, but I'm not playing it yet. And it technically comes out in 2025, so I'm putting it on the list.
Oh, wow.
And that is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle for PS5 specifically, which I am looking forward to very much so, because I think it did really well on Xbox and on Game Pass and all of that. But as I've said before several times, this is a PlayStation game, and especially now with my new trick of being able to game stream stuff to my Steam Deck as another option, I am just very much looking forward to playing this on the couch or on Steam Deck or whatever at the same full-fledged fidelity in all cases.
Yeah, this is a solid choice. I mean, you've actually been talking about it on the show quite a bit, so I think this is the right thing to say for you, even though the game's already out. Like, I think you're anticipating this and you're excited for this on your platform that you want to play. So I don't have a whole lot to say other than, like, it's a great game. I've watched a lot of it. I've actually watched quite a few hours of some streamers play it. I don't know that I could sit through the whole thing and play it myself. But
yeah, how's God of War going?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I don't want to commit to it, but everything I've seen seems really fun. It's a great puzzle Tomb Raider type, but first person, and it pulls it off pretty well.
Yeah, I've actually been avoiding all general media blackout on this one. Like, I know the reviews were good and the people liked the game, but I did not see any story spoilers or anything. And that's relatively easy to do because it's kind of a single player thing, and not too many people are talking about it. So I am going into it with fresh eyes, and I'm really looking forward to it.
My number two, I have talked about previously, and it's actually a relatively recent announcement. During the Game Awards, we got a very unexpected trailer for a game called Dispatch, which we know very little about, but I just loved what I saw. And there are some reports that it's coming out in 2025. So, assuming those reports are correct and it is sometime in 2025, I think this is actually a game I will pick up and play and enjoy, very, very soon after it comes out. Because I don't anticipate it being very long. But, a story-driven game based on humor with some mechanical elements of dispatching superheroes appropriately to things that are happening around the city. Like, it just I don't know, it's hitting all the right spots for me, because I want that story, I want the humor, I want a really good, quite honestly, a really good point and click game. And I think this is going to deliver on that.
It does look really good, and I am also interested in it. It's not enough to make my list, but it's probably the kind of thing that I'll play if and when it comes to a humble bundle at some point, because it's that kind of thing for me, probably. But I don't know. We'll see. If you get it and really love it and talk about it all the time, then maybe I'll have to give it a try.
This seems, and maybe I'm wrong about this, it's I think it's by the Telltale people, right?
Or ex Telltale, yeah, whatever.
And this screams, we know that the people that play video games don't have enough time on their hands, want a TV-like video game, and they're getting older. Like, they're in their 30s and late 30s and 40s, and we want to build an adult humor but not raunchy game that mimics a lot of other types of media. And I don't know, that's really speaking to me, and I hope it delivers on all of those things, and I hope it's exactly as I just described, because that's what it feels like. I would like this game to succeed because I'd like to see more things like that.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Okay. Yes. Now you've talked me into like, making a purchase just to support the idea of it.
We'll see if that's actually what it turns out to be. I mean, again, we know very little about it. We know about the developers and the games they've made in the past, but the trailer, the voice talent, like it's got some really famous people, voicing some characters. So some top tier talent on the game, and I don't know. I'm setting my expectations really high, but I think they might be delivered on. So we'll see.
All right, number one.
Last
year, I was excited for a sequel to a great roguelike game, and this year is no different. I am excited for a sequel to a great roguelike game, and that is Slay the Spire 2.
You have a pattern. You have a game, a genre that you like.
I really do, and I am so looking forward to this one. Roguelike deck builder. I still play a bunch of Slay the Spire 1 on my iPad, so I am looking forward to this one, which will probably come out Steam first only, which means it will be a Steam Deck game for me for a while, and then it will eventually, come out for iPad or iOS and such. But yes, for now, we'll just say Slay the Spire 2 just looks like more Slay the Spire, and they've said it's coming out in 2025. I'm really hoping it comes out in like the mid-year of 2025 instead of like the late year of 2025, but we'll see. Very much looking forward to it. So Slay the Spire 2, sign me up.
I guess I haven't realized how much Slay the Spire 1 that you've played.
I have played a lot of Slay the Spire 1. Like it's a really good like casual kind of, pick up and play, and you can put it down anytime because it's all turn-based. Like I just I don't know, sit and eat breakfast and poke around on the iPad and play Slay the Spire. It's really a good game for that kind of format.
And I haven't
played it on PC in a while.
Well, you haven't played it on PC in a while. You have played it on iPad, but you've also played it on the table.
Oh, yes, exactly. Yes, the board game, I've played several rounds of it, and it's super fun. So that kind of keeps it fresh in my mind as well. But the video game is still holds up wonderfully. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do with the second one.
This is the one that had a little bit of a drama behind it, right? It got announced because they decided to move off of Unity. Am I remembering that right?
Yep. Yeah, they did a little thing back when, a year and a half ago when Unity was kind of falling out of favor with people because they were changing their business terms. Like this was something that kind of got caught up. They were like, oh, we're not making our next game on Unity anymore. So that, I don't remember if they announced it at that time or not, but yes, this was that game.
Yeah. Well, okay. And have they confirmed 2025?
Yes, they have said at the Game Awards, they had a trailer that said it was still coming in 2025. So this is happening.
Okay. All right.
What you got?
When we sat down to make this list, I wrote 3, 2, 1, : and typically what we do is we open a list of games that are, scheduled, like, some list, right? Wikipedia has a really good list for all the games coming out in 2025. We use the one on GameSpot every year. I didn't need a list to know which one I needed to put down in my number one spot. As soon as I kind of sat down and I wrote 1: I was like, I know what I'm going to type here. I know what I'm most excited for. And I have talked about it on the show before. It was just announced, and I have it on my calendar. I am considering taking days off of work because I am so excited for Hazelight's next game, Split Fiction.
Yeah, this one is on my kind of honorable mentions list. I wanted to give it to you because I know that it's your most excited game, but like this looks like a great game, and I also look forward to playing it.
I loved It Takes Two. I have played it all the way through twice. It is amazing. It's everything I ever wanted it to be, and Split Fiction, it looks like more of everything I ever wanted it to be. Like it's sci-fi and fantasy, and it's another 2-player co-op only game, and it's I don't even know what to say about it. I'm so excited for this game, and I was so hyped when they announced it during the Game Awards. You talk about a game that I'm anticipating and that I'm looking forward to and that I'm hyped to play. This is definitely it.
I'm not as hyped as you, but I'm really glad you're excited for it, and I look forward to hearing about kind of how it goes for you. So keep us posted.
Okay, we always do like honorable mentions, we call them. I don't know that. Yeah, I guess we call them honorable mentions. It's things that we don't want to commit to, though. Like the ones on my list are I don't want to commit to. I just want to be like I'm looking forward to these, or I'm paying attention to these, but I don't want to say I'm hyped for them. And I'll just lift off my two really fast. The first one we talked about on the show before. There was a demo for Rift of the Necrodancer. It's the DDR, but with your arrow keys on your keyboard. Sync to the music kind of beat. It's a lot like Beat Saber in that it's a rhythm game, and it you have to make sure you're hitting the right keys at the right time. And I'm excited for that game. It's a good game. The other one is Dune Awakening, which I put on the list, not so much as I'm hyped for it, but that I'm interested in seeing where it goes. It's supposed to be like survival crafting MMO, maybe. Who knows? I don't really know, but I'm going to keep my eye on it because I think it could turn into something. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying it might.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know anything about the Dune game, but I am excited about Rift of the Necrodancer, and I'm surprised you didn't put it as like number 3. Like I figured that was one that was enough of a like kind of a lock for you that it would make your most anticipated. But here it is in honorable mentions.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to buy it. It's definitely day one buy.
Okay.
But so is World of Warcraft Season 2. I mean, I'm going to sub.
Yeah, fair.
So
yeah, okay. My honorable mentions are pretty lame because one of mine is Split Fiction, which we just talked about, and the other one is Hades 2 again because maybe it's going to come out for real this year, and they keep updating it, and it's really good.
What are you looking forward to in the release? Like, are you anticipating more, or I mean, is there something they're holding back for release?
No, I think it's really just to see if, like, once they get to the end, because I think it happened in Hades 1 as well, where there's a bunch of, and I'm not there yet. I'm, to be clear, not there yet in the Hades 2 kind of, game, but like they did a bunch of post story kind of in Hades 1, and I think that all came out kind of after the early access period. So, I think they're probably going to have the same thing coming in Hades 2. So like once it's a complete package, then I'm assuming, it will kind of wrap itself up nicely with a little bow. So, and there's always, chance for there to be a twist or something, and like all sorts of, now that there's 2 and 2 characters and all this stuff, like, I don't know. I feel like there's opportunity for more stuff to come once they kind of officially finish the game.
Yeah. Cool.
That's why it's an honorable mention, because it's not like a thing I know, and it's not like a thing I'm, I don't ever buy anything for it. I'm just looking forward to them kind of finishing it.
I'll buy it when it comes out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sure. One thing that comes to mind also as we're talking about it is they're making, and I forget, I don't know if it's coming out in 25 or not, but the Deep Rock Galactic people are doing a roguelike, which seems interesting to me.
That seems promising.
Yeah. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is already out in early access, but it's not out in full. But they have also Rogue Core, Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core, which I don't know when that's coming.
Okay. All right. That seems promising. I like basically everything they put out in that world.
Exactly. So like, yeah. So we'll keep an eye on that one, but the roguelike, Deep Rock Galactic, great stuff.
I liked what you've named the not on our list category this year. Big deals, but not on our actual list. I think that summarizes it very nicely.
Yeah. No, there's a few games that are coming out that are huge that I feel like we did this last year too, but like things that it feels kind of, wrong not to mention because they're, in this case, massive AAA game franchise sequel things. So I wanted to just kind of acknowledge the fact that we know that these are coming out so that, people don't think that we're totally ignorant to the larger gaming community. But the first one I had on the list was GTA 6, Grand Theft Auto 6. I'm not a GTA person, but GTA 6 is probably coming out in 2025 and everybody's excited about it. So yay.
Yeah, I think we're pretty sure, I think. But this is the big elephant in the room that like it is like the game of 2025 that everyone is at least I mean, I've heard of people changing their release schedules. They want to make sure they're as far away from this game as possible. What publishers are not committing to budgets and projections until they know the release date of this game. Like this is the 10,000 pound gorilla in the room. I'm not super looking forward to it because I don't play GTA 5 either, but I have played it and I've played some of the stories and they tend to be pretty good. But I never got into the online play, and I think that's what a lot of people love. I don't know. I think it'll be exciting to see like the video game media around this game. Some of the YouTube and other things that come kind of ancillary to it. But right. I probably won't buy it.
No, I definitely won't buy it. That's for sure. Likewise, the next game I had on the list here was Death Stranding 2, which I didn't play Death Stranding 1, although I think I have it now because of some humble something or other or something. Maybe it was an Epic, I don't know. But Death Stranding is a weird game from Hideo Kojima, and people seem to like it, I guess.
You've never played it?
But the sequel's coming out in 25. I have not.
I have played it, surprisingly.
Really? That's weird.
I played about an hour of it, and then it got too scary, and I'm like, nope, I'm out.
Oh, yeah. Scary, right. You don't do scary.
I don't do scary. And I was trying to power through it. And I was just like, no, I'm out. I'm done. So
interesting.
I'm not going to play this one either.
Yeah, I might have to give a shot to the first one. I do have it on Steam. I could put it on my Steam Deck.
I might be able to watch it. This is one of those ones that I might be interested in, like watching a playthrough of it just to watch the cutscenes and get the story. But I can't play it. I can't do it.
I think I would rather just watch the cutscenes as a YouTube supercut. Like, I don't know if I would want to watch somebody play the actual game.
Well, yeah. I mean, the ones that I typically watch on YouTube, and this is a good tip for everyone. If you ever want to like watch the story or whatever, there's a lot of really good cuts on YouTube where there's no commentary or anything. And what they do is they show you any actual gameplay that's relevant or like any lines that are relevant in the story that happens during gameplay. They will show you like 10 seconds of like combat, like fighting someone, and they'll just kind of cut to the end of it. Because you want to know like, oh, they encountered resistance here or whatever. Like that's part of the game. That's part of the story a little bit, but you don't need to watch the full combat scene. Like you just need to understand how it relates to the story. So, there's some really good cuts of games on YouTube that give, a perfect, through line for the story, in, I don't know, a fifth of the time.
Sure. This is the first kind of game that I'm talking about, considering doing that with, because usually I do like to sit and play a game if I think it's worth my time, but I never got into the Kojima thing, and like, I don't know, this one just doesn't seem like it's quite good enough, but it's like important to know about culturally. So maybe I'll take a look at it. The next big game that's coming out that's like a big AAA game that I had put on the list here was Ghost of Yotai, which is the Ghost of Tsushima sequel. Ghost of Tsushima was a like PS5 exclusive. It just came out to PC like a year ago maybe. It's kind of on my list to like pick it up on maybe PS5 and play it on, stream to the Steam Deck or pick it up on Steam and play it on the Steam Deck. It's supposed to be like a really good kind of open world set in feudal Japan kind of a thing. Maybe if I end up watching Shogun on Hulu, I'll then go want to play this game. But the sequel is coming out in 25, and if the first game is good, then I could see that being another one of those like I want to play it on a couch with a controller kind of games that could get onto my list, but it's not like on my list right now.
You're gonna have to let me know how that goes, because this just doesn't even register on my radar.
I think it's supposed to have a decent story. I don't know.
You're gonna have to let me know. The next one, though, I would say there is a possibility that I play it. The next one we have on our list is Borderlands 4.
Oh, really? Huh. Okay.
Yeah, I think I've played Borderlands 2. I did not play Borderlands 3. And some of the media and some of the interviews and what they're saying around Borderlands 4 has me interested to try to get back into it. It seems like they understand that Borderlands 3 maybe went a little bit too childish in the comedy, and they're trying to get back to ridiculous, but not like childish. And I'm into that. I might have to see what the reviews for this one are, because Borderlands 2 was decent. I laughed out loud once or twice while playing it. Like, I don't know, and I'm pretty sure they're all co-op, and that would be a big boon for me. So we'll have to see. I'm keeping my eye on Borderlands 4. I'm not counting it out.
Yeah, they are all co-op. I did play Borderlands 3. It was way, way too childish in terms of the humor. But I think, if you're correct and they kind of go for absurd but not like juvenile, I think that there's maybe some potential there. I mean, I like the idea of Borderlands. The art style is really nice. Like the whole looter shooter thing is fun. But Borderlands 3 turned me off so hard to that whole like franchise. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes.
Claptrap's in Borderlands 2, right?
Yes, and he's kind of in the other one, I think. I thought.
Okay, he was a main character in 2, though. I remember. I mean, that humor's funny. It was good humor, and there was a lot of ridiculousness in Borderlands 2. I liked some of it, and Borderlands 3 just got such bad reviews, and you're right, took a very juvenile approach to a lot of the humor that I was just like, nah, I don't need that. But the things that I've been reading about, like the writing and how they acknowledged that shift and they want to get away from it, that's what piqued me back into it. And like, maybe we'll see.
Yeah. Well, at least they're self-reflective on that.
Chris, have you ever played a Fable game?
I have not.
Fable is an Xbox thing.
I know.
It's
This could be the kind of thing that makes me come back to Game Pass is to play the next Fable game. Fable,
I played Fable. I had an Xbox. I've had Xboxes for a long time. I played Fable something. I don't remember which one. I mean, Fable is the Final Fantasy of Xbox, right? Like that's what it is.
Right. Okay.
Slightly different setting, but they haven't had nearly as many of them, but it's the grand story, interconnected, hardcore fans. That's Fable. And it's not on our list. And we don't need to play we don't need an Xbox anymore. That's the thing. So I'm interested in this one as well. I'm really worried that Fable's going to be like a 200-hour game though. And that's what turns me away from it. That's
true. That would be a little bit much. It might go on the list of when I'm looking for a long game. I'm working through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth right now, and I'm, I don't know, probably 20 hours into it. So there's more to go, and I've still got Final Fantasy 16 on that same list. So this might just end up on the someday list and maybe the never list. But I thought it was important to mention because it does look really good, and like the trailers they did looked really good, and like the graphics are really good. And I don't know, it looks really good. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes when it gets closer. The last big deal, but not on our actual list thing that was going to be on my actual list, but I didn't want to put it there because we don't know anything yet, but it's still on my actual list, is the Switch 2. Like just everything about the Switch 2. I am very much looking forward to that. If we're talking about what are we looking forward to in 2025, the Switch 2. I'm just looking forward to finally getting some closure on that, understanding what it is, seeing what the games are. Like, I don't know if I'm going to buy one, but like, the hype of it, I am here for it.
There are a few things that would get me to buy one.
Me too.
I don't have a Switch OLED, but a Mario Kart, a good Mario Kart that got great reviews and does really well. I mean,
there's going to be a Mario Kart.
That would steer, yeah, but it has to be like, oh, this is like really like, Mario Kart 8 from the
Wii U,
from the Wii U to the Switch was just like, it's still Mario Kart 8, right? Like, if they come out with Mario Kart 9 and they're just like, this is like crazy. Like, some of the things that we've seen is like, there's 25 people at the starting line. That's, I don't know that I love that. That's not going to get me to play. That's not a big enough selling point, but it could. There are certain games. I mean, there's certain elements. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can't pin it down, but it's possible that Mario Kart to pull me in, but I see you have it listed here, and I've heard these same rumors that there is potentially a new 3D Mario.
Yeah.
And I know specifically which one would pull me in, and I don't know that they would ever do it. but I loved Mario Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
A Mario Odyssey 2
Me too.
or a very similar Mario Odyssey would probably do it for me.
I mean, I think that's going to be basically any 3D Mario is going to be that, especially if they do it in the kind of open world-ish scenario like they did with Odyssey, like, which I think they probably would. I mean, they're going that direction with Zelda. I'm assuming they would continue in that direction with Mario. Yeah, that is the thing. As I started to think about it a little bit, and like as you know, all the trailer came out for the Switch 2 and everything, and I was like, you know what? If there is new 3D Mario, that might be the thing that gets me really into it. And actually like looking after a Switch 2 on day one ish, if they do that.
I'm being more specific about it. If it's Mario Odyssey 2, I'm in. If it's not Mario
Okay.
Odyssey 2 and it's a 3D Mario, I may wait for your review.
So you put this on me. Okay.
Yeah. And if you don't get it, then I don't get it. Whatever. That's fine.
Fair.
We'll wait for an OLED.
I will say from my point, a Mario Kart game is not enough for me to buy a whole new console.
Okay. All right.
But a 3D Mario platformer game, that has potential.
I can't wait for more information. Like what? We have to wait like 3 months.
It's really only like 2 months from now. Like it's April 2nd is when they're going to come out with the like hopefully game focused. My gosh, if they don't do game focused thing on April 2nd. Then that will hopefully tell us kind of what the plans are, and maybe even a launch date. That'd be great. But knowing Nintendo, they're going to be like, "Oh, tune into our next thing on June 23rd," and it's like, "Come on." No.
I was going to ask if when do you think they're going to like? When do you think the launch date's going to be?
I think the launch date is either going to be like October 20th or something, right? Like in time for Christmas, or it's going to be April 20th. Like they're going to be like, here's our April 2nd Nintendo Direct. And by the way, it's going to be available before the end of the month. Like that's, I think the choices.
I think I'm leaning towards that they do this thing on April 2nd and it's available within 2 to 3 weeks.
Well, the one, I guess, upset to that theory is that they did announce that they are doing these like preview centers or whatever, so that you can get your hands on the Switch 2 starting in, I don't know, April-ish timeframe. And I think somebody did some math and figured out that the latest one of those kind of like demo traveling sessions is in June in like South Korea. So that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but like if you wanted to do all your previews before the thing actually came out, then you're looking at like mid to late June as like the very earliest that it would come out.
Nah, I'm sticking by it.
I don't know. So we'll see. Well, I'm expecting that you and I will do a pretty big episode about Switch 2 stuff after April 2nd, you know, whatever that falls on the calendar. So stay tuned for that.
That's fair.
But that is my most hyped thing of 2025 is just anything about the Switch 2.
If I would have let you put it on your list, it would have been easier. I mean, I guess you could have put it on your list. I don't control you, but it would have been a little easier. But you're right. We just don't know enough. These were hard this year. These were hard to put together. I don't know. Like, I feel like last year was a lot easier, and maybe I was just less strict, and I don't know. But this felt like a very hard exercise for me this year, except for the number one spot. That was easy.
Of course.
We'll see. We'll see where these all end up. We probably will revisit this sometime in the middle of the year, particularly around Summer Games Fest. But definitely we will look at them again next year, and hopefully we both did a really good job and everything is excellent. I'm sure that there is something that has not been announced yet that will just kind of reign over everything, right? Like there's got to be something out there that we don't know about it yet. You know, I think that kind of happened with Factorio. I mean, I guess we knew the Factorio expansion was coming out in 2024. Like, we really didn't know exactly when. And, you know, same with Hades 2. And, you know, there's just stuff that you don't know, that you can't predict. So I'm sure something will come up in like Power World. Like, I think
Power World did come out of nowhere.
Yeah, days after we recorded last year's episode, Power World like kind of dropped, and we're just like, oh, okay, so this is going to be our next month. Got it. So we'll see where it all ends up. I'm also sure that we forgot something. You know, we try our best to list it all here. But if you are excited about something that we didn't talk about, let us know, because I love getting involved with the hype. So please bring it up and tell us what we forgot if we didn't list it here. You can get in contact with us and talk with us and chat with us by joining our Discord, which you can get to at discord.pnapodcast.com.
If you want to find any of our older episodes, including the one from last year of the same thing, or if you want to read our show notes, you can visit our website at pnapodcast.com. That's P, the letter N, the letter A, podcast.com.
If you're enjoying the show, we would love if you could share it with some others that might enjoy it as well.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.
Chris, I need a new computer.
Why? You just said you had trouble coming up with new games. Like, why?
Oh, stop it. I need a new computer because the games I already play are starting to not be able to play. I was playing Warframe the other day, and I do this thing, that I play Warframe and I turn Twitch on. I just watch Twitch. I usually watch someone playing Warframe while I play Warframe.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't know what it was. I don't know what specific incantation of like the fashion I was wearing in Warframe or like the place I was at. But I'm playing Warframe and I pulled up Task Manager to look at what my GPU is at because Twitch is like stuttering. It can't keep up.
Okay.
Like the frame, the stream is just can't go, and it's not, and the sound is fine, so I know it's not like my internet or anything, so it's not like stuttering. It just can't keep up. So I open my Task Manager and I look at my GPU and it is maxed out 100% solid, just a solid block on the graph. And I go, man, oh man, I can't play Warframe and watch a Twitch stream at the same time. I said, I'm done. I'm out. This is it. We finally have enough information that I think I've made a decision. I'm going to try my very hardest to get a full. I'm gonna do a full new computer. I'm going for a 5080. That's what I'm going for.
Not a 5090.
Not a 5090. I don't think I need it. I don't think I need to spend $1,000 more for the next level up. 5080 is $1,000 and 5090 is $2,000. MSRP. So I just don't. I don't think I need that. And I think 5080 is going to be enough. I've thought a lot about the frame generation stuff, the AI frame generation.
Oh yeah, DLSS, yeah.
And on the 40 series, it does one frame for every truly rendered frame. One intermediate frame. The 50 series does 3 generated frames for every actual rendered frame. And I thought about it a lot, and I said, would I care? Like, would I ever turn that off? I would always just turn that on. I'm not the kind of guy that cares about, like super tiny artifacts or like things not being perfect or, I'm not a twitchy player. Like I'm not playing CSGO or anything like that. I was like, and if I'm getting down to 30 frames per second or 20 frames per second, do I want, those interlaced frames in between there? Like, would that help? And I would just probably always keep it on. I would just always play with it. And I don't think I need a 5090 for that.
No, I don't think you do, especially because you're not playing at 4K either, right?
No, I'm playing at 1440. So I don't know how much I have 3 screens. One's always playing a game and 2 are doing something else. So I don't know how much that impacts it. But I think a 5080 is going to be more than enough for what I use it for. And, again, thinking about it, like how often I'm upgrading and how often I want to upgrade. I think, once the 5080 is not enough, because I didn't spend so much on the graphics card, I would be more okay with a slightly faster, cycle time on getting the next one, which would be, I don't know how long have we had these? 4 years now? I think that's
the computers or the GPU.
Well, how long have we had the computers? Because we bought our computers at the same time.
Yeah, and I think those were in a long time ago. 2019 maybe.
Yeah, I mean they're coming up on 6 years, and I did buy a graphics card in the middle, but I bought a 2070 Super, and I think that only costs like $650. Does that sound right?
Probably. We've talked about this before, where graphics cards are way more expensive now than they were.
Yeah. So, if I spend three grand ish on a computer, every 5 years, I think that's, or every 4 years, it's probably a little more than I want, but the graphics cards are just expensive now. Like, that's just what it is. But if I spend $4,000 and buy a 5090, I'm going to want to wait longer. So I think 5080 is the right choice for me. No, I'm sure of it. That's what I'm doing. I'm sure of it.
I'm not seriously thinking that you should get a 5090 by any stretch of the imagination. Like, it is not a good idea. I have my 4090 and I'm keeping it, obviously, because it's slightly better / the same as a 5080 at this point. Even though the 5090 is twice as good, but it's mostly with the AI frames and whatever, which is, again, who cares?
It's not though. Yeah, it's only 30% better in actual like compute performance.
Right. Yeah. But it's also totally not worth the money. But like, I am hoping that my 4090, which I got a year and a half ago, we talked about this, I don't know, is going to be good for me for another 5 years. Like, I think that thing's going to last a while.
I do too.
Which will be good. But I'm excited for you to get a new GPU. I'm a whole new PC. I'm a little jealous, but also I'm gonna stretch mine, I think, even a little further. But 5080, I think, is definitely the right level, if not the 5070. I didn't see any of the numbers on the 5070, but if I was gonna, for my next one, I might swing the pendulum hard the other way and go look at what the 70 line is doing.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm ready. It could be any day now. The 5080, I think, comes out at the end of January, so I may jump on it right away. I may not. I don't know. I don't know what the availability is. Is it going to be a rush? Is it going to be sold out everywhere? I don't know. So I'm ready. So stay tuned. I mean, next time I could be talking to you from a new one. Who knows?
Ooh, talking through a new graphics card. Cool.